students, welcome to class today. Today we are looking at addition and that of subtraction, okay? Already you know how to make your additions and how to make your subtraction, but today we're going to look a little further from just seeing the signs and using the signs to find answers to your questions. So we'll look at some of the key words that we use when we are dealing with adding or that of subtracting, okay? First, we'll look at add. So this is the sign for add, which means it's a plus. So whenever you see your plus in between numbers, it means that you are adding up, which you know already. But these are the four main words that you can find when you have a word problem that requires you to do addition. So we will learn how we can use these words or how we can identify these words in word problem whenever it relates to addition. So the first one is the actual word add. So add means that you are putting two things together or two or more things together. You put them together. Assuming you have 5 and 6, you put them together, add, you have 11, okay? If you have 4 and 6 and you are to add, you put them together and you have 10. So that means you are adding up, okay? You are adding up. Sum, S-U-M. So S-U-M, sum, also means that you are adding up. If they ask you find the sum of 3 and 7, it means you have to add 3 to that of 7, and that will give you 10, okay? So sum also means that you are adding. Is that all right? Good. Total. When you hear total in a word problem, John had a total of a certain amount of eggs or banana or mango, it means that there were group of mangoes that he has to put them together to get that final figure that he is mentioned. So total also means that you are kind of adding up to get to your final answer, okay? All together. All together means one set, second set, or you put them together to form a kind of addition. So all together means you have to add the various components or items or numbers that you have together so that you can get a final answer. So whenever you see add, sum, total, and all together, it means you are dealing with plus. Okay? When you see this in any word problem, it means you are dealing with plus. You don't forget about this, okay? So we have an example here. It says that we should work out the total of 23 and that of 32. That means we need to add 23 and that of 32 because the key word here is total. So total means we are adding. We can the same way put all together, that work out 23 and 32 all together. That means we are adding up. We can put sum, say work out the sum of 23 and 32. Work out the sum of 23 and 32. It means we are adding to get a final answer. Okay, so let's find the total. So the total of 23 and 32 becomes 23 plus 32, which is equal 55. So we can put any of these words in this sentence and they all mean that we have to add them up together to get our 55. So you don't forget about these words, and then you will always find answers to your addition equation. Now let's look at subtract. Subtract means that we are taking one component out of the other component. So we subtract, we use this sign, which is the minus sign. Subtract, you take away. Take away, you subtract. Okay? Take away means you are subtracting. Give away means you are subtracting. And then give out. You have 16x. You give out 6. It means that you take 6 out of your 16 and your remaining x will be 10. So give out means you are also subtracting. Difference, find the difference, means you have to subtract. If you have a set of oranges and you are supposed to find the difference between one set of a basket of oranges and the another set of basket of oranges, it means you have to subtract. So let's see how we can put these words in statements to find answers. Find the difference of 15 and 10. So we are finding the difference between 15 and 10. So that becomes 15 minus 10. That gives us 5. So we are finding the difference. So the difference between 15 and 10 is 5. We have to subtract to get this answer. Very simple, but we have to keep them words in mind so that we will always be sure that are we dealing with subtracting or we are dealing with addition. With that, it becomes very easy for you to find your answers. Let's move to our first task. On our first task, we will go to page 48 of our learner's book. You will do questions 1, 2, and 3. These questions is about addition and subtraction. It is in a word problem form. You have to use the keywords that we have learned today to determine that are you going to subtract or you're going to add. I hope that with this you're going to do a nice work and get all your points correct. Thank you for this session and I'll see you in our second video. Goodbye. Those find answers to those questions and then you post through the Telegram group for me to do the check-in for you. I'll see you in our third video to end this lesson with you. Thank you. Hello class, this is our final video on our lesson adding and subtracting. You have learned that there are 4 main words that we can use to still mean addition. And equally, there are 5 words that we can also use to mean subtracting. The sign of addition is the plus sign, and the sign of minus or subtracting is the minus sign that you see over here. These are the 4 words that whenever you find in any equation or a word problem, it means that your equation has to involve with a plus sign. Add, sum, total, all together means that you have to use the plus sign to deal with your equation. There could be an instances whereby you have to start with the plus and continue with the minus. So whenever you are reading your questions, you have to take time and read your questions very well. Maybe in the beginning of the question, it asks you to do a sum. And then from the sum, it moves to give away or find the difference, okay? So I will advise that whenever you are dealing with any maths problem, you have to take your time to read the questions very well, to understand every bit of the question before you start finding answers to. Once you are able to do that, I promise you it's going to be very easy for you to find answers to questions that you meet. Subtracting, you go with the minus sign. Subtract, take away, give out, difference. These words means that you have to deal with the minus sign. Okay, you always have to keep these words in mind, and it becomes so easy for you to deal with equations of word problem involving add and that of subtracting. With the example that we have here, the first one relates to addition, that is 1, addition. The second one relates to subtraction. The word we use here for this example is total, but in place of the total we can put any of these words there, and it will still mean that we have to do plus. When the total is taken out, we can put add, we can put all together, we can put sum, and it all means that we are doing addition, which means we are dealing with plus. In the second example, we use difference, okay, because that is the most unfamiliar word that when they use in math equation, it becomes a challenge. So we use difference here. In the place of difference, we can ask you to find using subtract, take away, give out. In place of the difference, it's just that the sentence is going to be changed a little bit so that the word that we want to use can fit it into it properly. But it still points to the fact that you have to use your minus sign. Keep these words in mind, and you are safe with addition and subtraction word problems, okay? We will go to our homework for today, and we can find our homework at page 51 of the learner's book. So our lesson has actually been on 48 and 50, so we will end at 51 as homework. We are doing only question 3. Question 3 is a table that you're supposed to work around the equations on those tables. I wish you good luck, and I'll see you next week in class. Goodbye.